It's Brunson. That shot clock is low. Driving inside on Neesmith and got the teardrop to go down. Wow. 21 for Jalen Brunson.
The Karl Anthony Towns game, the most points in a playoff quarter in his career, 20 in the fourth. He also had 8 rebounds in the fourth quarter. Welcome to Playoff Central Live, presented by AT&T. So the Knicks do it again. It's their third 20-point comeback in the playoffs on the road this postseason. First team since the play-by-play era to do that. So let's go to you, Jalen. I mean, you said it. Karl Anthony Towns got to have a big game, and through 3 quarters, he had just 4 points. It's like, yeah, it doesn't look like it's happening.
Reggie and I have seen this movie up close and personal. He just said it at the end of the game. When the Knicks play on the road, there's a level of toughness that they bring that sometimes that they don't have at home. And without Jalen Brunson, who's been the clutch player of the year, he's their best player dominating the ball, it gave Karl Anthony Towns a chance to do, in his words, what I do when I get the chance. So you're down 2 games, you're down 20 in the second quarter, and you get 20 from Karl Anthony Towns in the fourth quarter to come back and win on the road. Very impressive by New York.
So, Jay, my question is, why in the fourth quarter they show some life? Why in the fourth quarter they show some fight? Why in the fourth quarter they were attacking the basket, and then finally to Cat's point, he finds his rhythm. Now, a couple of those threes, you know how much I love the three. One of those was about a hash mark. I was like, what are you doing, Cat? But the second one and the third one went in. Then he drove the ball in the basket, and he got that dunk and one. That's when I said, okay, he's awake. But why wait to the fourth quarter to find that type of energy and fight, though?
Well, sense of desperation, number one. But what he'll say when he's in the car with his friends and family, or he on the phone tonight, he'll say, they just got to give me the ball.
Well, to that point,
that's what he will say.
Okay.
Looking at the last 2 first quarters, right? Because game 2, Karl Anthony Towns, 2 shots, 0 points in the first quarter. Tonight, 2 shots, 0 points in the first quarter. Then you look at the second quarter, game 2, he had 12, came to life 3D. Why is it that he doesn't seem to be in rhythm early in games for the Knicks?
I don't know if I'm going to put that pressure on Tibbs. I don't know if I'm going to put that pressure on Jalen Brunson because he's the captain, the ball's in his hands. Get your big fella going. And yes, we can nitpick about does he take too many threes or how deep the threes are, but that play right there, I want to see more aggressive plays like that of attacking the paint, putting pressure on the defense, because yes, if you want to proclaim you're the best big man shooter ever, well, get to the paint more often, J-Ro, get a couple layups, and then let those 3-point shots come in the flow, and you can take over like you showed us in the fourth quarter.
And when Brunson's out of the game, he becomes the featured player. And it seems like because he's now being featured, he's a lot more aggressive. McBride was looking for him. Hart was defending and rebounding, so he knew he was going to get multiple touches. And Karl Anthony Towns did a terrific job of taking advantage of it.
Now, there's something you said, and the Knicks are 6-1 on the road in this postseason, and you said it before this game started. We saw this in this one. Why are the Knicks better, it seems like, on the road in the playoffs? And you're talking about in 99 and 2000 and now in 2020.
All right, here's a way to look at it. We live in an era of load management, but players never rest when it's time to go play in the Garden. Because that's a big stage. So the opponent gets up for the stage just as much, if not more, than the home team because they don't get a chance to see it every day. For the home team, it feels like pressure when you see all of the notables at the game and you understand the magnitude of what's happening and what the team hasn't been able to accomplish over the last couple of decades.
I look at the Pacers, and they went on that, 13-0 run, built a 20-point lead in the second quarter. In 3D, it felt like, oh, this is written, right? Like,
yeah, we started talking
16
about it.
fast break points. It felt like the knockout punch by the Pacers. Even going into the fourth quarter, it still felt that way. But the Knicks did not give up a fast break point in the fourth quarter. How did they shut off that valve? I
want to know what was said after the third quarter, because that's when the fight came back. That's when the confidence came back. That's when we saw the team that was
not at halftime.
Not at halftime. We were all saying, well, I guess we're going to be going to Indiana. Maybe we're going to be doing this. We started thinking big picture. But that fourth quarter, you saw the same determination you saw when they played the Boston Celtics. Even before Tatum got hurt, you believed the Knicks was going to win that series. That's what they showed us in the fourth quarter, that type of belief, fighting for loose balls, 50-50 balls, the rebounds, rotating on defense. We didn't see it the first 3 quarters. We saw it in the fourth quarter. Wasn't no secret. It wasn't that tip that came out in some 1-3-1 trap. It was literally heart, hustle, and they pulled it off in the fourth quarter.
So let's talk about the bigs for a second. You start Robinson, but he has his fewest rebounds of the series. But it gives Karl-Anthony Towns, as I mentioned, an opportunity to be a featured offensive player. Now, for the Pacers, their bigs minutes, they didn't get much from Miles Turner. They didn't get much from Obi Toppin. And here's a big adjustment that Rick Carlisle will make. You can't play Bradley at this time of year.
Got to go back to...
He's just not experienced enough. And what's going to happen is he gets near the play, they're going to call a foul on him. So you got to get Bryant back into those minutes. Those 14 minutes, those was crucial minutes as Karl-Anthony Towns got hot against Turner, then against Bradley. And once a great player gets going, it's hard to shut him off.
So it sounds like when Cat played well last year, did Cat play more 4, playing next to Gobert, more 5? I think he's tapped into something. Now he has 15 rebounds tonight. Now he's at his natural 4-man position and playing the 5. I think you tap in that. And you get around the head. You got to go back to Thomas Bryant. Remember, he's been in this situation before with the Denver Nuggets. So he's been in the championship fire before. Maybe throw him back in the game for Game 4.
And we can't overlook the Nova Knicks, right? You look at Mikal Bridges, 15 points, and then a guy who we could, say is an honorary member of that, OG Anunoby, his 16 points, 3 blocks, and a steal. We were saying we need someone else to have a big game. OG and Bridges really did their part.
They did, but let's talk about a point that you and I made about resiliency.
Yes.
Say what you were saying about Josh Hart and how a player handles being demoted.
We've seen it twice now here in the conference finals. Julius Randle the other night, quote-unquote, got benched because the coach made a decision that he thought give a chance team to win. Well, the same thing tonight with Josh Hart. Old school basketball, that guy would have been disgruntled, sitting in the back of it on the bus or somewhere and sitting like this, man, I'm not playing. No, Josh Hart took a professional, came in the game and made winning plays down the stretch. The rebound, the layup, free throws, all the small stuff where most guys say, well, that don't show up big in the stat sheet. It does because you won tonight and not being disgruntled.
And he closed the game. And he got the last rebound.
Yes.
And he was at the free throw line. And he put up, Jalen, the same stats he did as a starter in similar minutes.
And you know that certain guys, whether they play starters minutes or come off the bench, they're going to give you the same productivity. It just sometimes that's how it works. But you brought up Randle, you brought up Hart. You know who else got benched? Karl-Anthony Towns.
Yes.
He sure did in this series.
Game 2.
As a matter of fact.
Great call.
Right? So now he's a guy that becomes a catalyst to a big win on the road.
So explain the psychology behind that a little bit, right?
It's tough,
If a coach benches a guy, what is that? Does that either, take them back a step or motivate them? Because it seems like in this playoff run we're seeing in the Western Conference Finals and Eastern Conference Finals, it's motivating guys.
When you're the star, like Towns, you're a starter most of your career, Randall, all these guys, it's in your heart I'm a competitor, I want to play. But your professionalism, do you really believe in winning, and do you really believe in your leader as the head coach? Both guys believed in their leaders. They didn't go home and sulk. They regrouped. They looked that man in the mirror, and they came out and played top